Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
No surprise when I say this, but we are going through some challenging times right now. There's a lot happening, a lot of uncertainty in the world, it's adding a lot of anxiety and stress to our lives. How do we navigate that? How do we find time for ourselves? How do we release some of that guilt? And especially if you are somebody who leads a business, leads a team. We're going to talk with somebody who coaches people on this and so much more. She is the person behind Thrive Coaching and Consulting, works with many different individuals. I've actually talked to some of them and how she's changed their lives. And one of the things she does specialize in is coaching and counseling for nonprofits or people connected to them. But she works with anybody. She's our professional of the year. Carey is back with us. Welcome. How are you doing?
I'm really good. I'm looking forward to today's conversation because I think it's so important with what's happening now.
I'm going to say these two words and you exemplify them. Self-care. You just got back from vacation. Bravo. Look at you. Good for you. I'm looking at my schedule every day. Wait another week. I got to stop doing that. But congratulations on taking some time.
Absolutely. It's really, really important to do that and sort of rejuvenate yourself so that you can come back at full steam and feel good about the work you're doing.
100%. And this is what, even in non-challenging times, I don't even know if that exists, but they're much more challenging now, that we forget about the self-care thing. Before we return to that, let's go to stress. There's a lot of it, a lot of question marks going on right now. What are you hearing by and large from people that you work with?
Well, I think funding for many people, in the nonprofit sector, they're losing federal dollars, or if they haven't lost them yet, they're very anxious, thinking it's going to happen, and what will they do if it does happen? Who are they going to lay off? All those questions. And if you're a business owner that's not a nonprofit, you're struggling with products. Are you going to get what you need? And if you are able to get those products, how much are you going to have to increase the cost to cover, your expense so you can stay afloat and be successful? So there's just so many reasons why people are feeling anxious, I think is really a good word right now.
What do you say to somebody who is just stressed out? Like, how do you, in a perfect world, I'm bailing, I'll see you in a week. Bye. Not realistic always. So what do you say to somebody who is feeling the pressure and just, everything going on? How do they navigate that?
Well, I think, first of all, keeping in mind that we only have so much control. And we can only have control of ourselves and our behaviors. And I think, first of all, is making sure, really looking at yourself and saying, okay, how am I taking care of myself? Am I exercising daily? Am I eating healthy? Am I getting a good night's sleep? Those are really important things, because if your body is run down and you're eating fast food all the time and you're sitting instead of moving and getting exercise, those all contribute to how you feel, which contributes to your stress. So the first thing I would do was to talk to people about how are they taking care of themselves.
Do you feel that many of us don't realize what those things can do to move us along, reduce stress? Like, all right, so I'll go for a jog or I'll go for a walk. What's that going to do for me? We don't see the massive benefits from it.
I know. What I tell people, and I've worked with people who are depressed, And, you got to get those endorphins moving.
Mm.
And it's amazing if you go out and take a brisk walk during the day. We all get breaks, we all have lunches, but if you go out and get some fresh air and sunshine and walk at a quick pace, you're going to feel a lot better. And it works. Steve,
You know what? I love just the way you say that. It works. Like, hello. It does. And there's a reason I feel that, like, okay, beautiful day out today. You're stuck inside. Actually, let me rephrase that because that's a negative. I just caught myself. You're stuck
yes, you
inside.
did. Very
No,
good.
you have things to do. You happen to be inside. Have to find the time to go outside, even if it's for 10 minutes. Fresh air, see a tree, take a moment, breathe, reset, all of that. I don't think we realize the impact.
Absolutely. One of the things that so many leaders do, whether they're in a nonprofit or a business, is they work, and they put in all these hours and they work through lunch
Mm, mm.
and they don't leave their desk. And they think, oh, I'm really producing. I'm really doing well. But at the end of the day,
You're right. I know where you're going with this, and yeah, keep going.
what have you accomplished? It used to be that when you went for an interview, if you were a leader, they'd want to know, can you multitask? Because that seemed to be the big thing. You need to be able to handle 6 million things all at the same time. But now they've shown that studies show that that is the worst thing you can do. You don't do any of them well, and you end up feeling at the end of the day like I didn't accomplish anything, instead of sticking with one task at a time. And if you're a leader and you're eating lunch at your desk, you are modeling really poor behavior for your employees, because they feel like, oh, the boss is working through lunch. We've got all this work to do. I need to do that too.
Mm.
But the reality is when you take that 30-minute break or an hour, whichever you're fortunate to have, you come back and are much more able to accomplish a lot more when you've had that break. Your brain needs that break. And then the next thing I would say is that the self-awareness is really key. And when I say self-awareness, I'm talking about your thoughts and what you're thinking. Doing mental fitness exercises, which we've done on this show before, really helps you refocus and calm yourself down so that you're not like, your brain's not racing and you're not struggling with, oh my gosh, I've got to get this done. Oh my gosh, what if this happens or that happens? It sort of calms you down so you can refocus, reset, and move forward and be successful. And it helps you, with self-care, doing mental fitness exercises, taking care of yourself, all those things help you have an organization that's more sustainable. And, the organizational culture will be much more positive. And people will work at peak performance. Now, I've talked a lot, but there's still missing pieces of self-care that we need to all be doing. And one of them, which I'm wondering, Steve, how you manage this, is your time.
Mm.
You've told me before that you've been on boards. Leaders are relentless. People are relentless in contacting leaders. Constantly phone calls, emails, asking you to do this, to do that. Are you good at saying no?
Nope. But I will say this. and this is recent, and this goes against what I always thought previously. So technology is great. However, however, we lost the personal connection in terms of talking with people, and which is wonderful. But I'm seeing it slightly in another way because I find a lot of times when I get on the phone with somebody, it just keeps going. I want to talk on the phone, but I don't want to talk that long. We can get to the point, close it up, and move on to the next thing. So I'm fine. Sadly, I'm fine. And maybe it's me. I got to steer the conversation and end it. What could be said in 5 minutes now takes, 25 minutes. Now it comes to a text. Just send me a text. Just shoot me a text. We're all good. We got to figure it out. Bam. On to the next thing. On to the next project. Move, move, move. All good. There's a point where it's like you keep going around in circles in the phone conversation. How do you end that in a very nice way? Just to get to the point, what we need to get done. Hope everything's going great. And I'll talk to you later, or, we'll work on that. That's my current challenge.
Okay. So how I would handle it, or how I would tell my clients to handle it.
I'm on the edge of the cliff waiting for your answer, by the way.
Get back off the cliff and let that other person on the other end of the phone know that you have 5 minutes.
Yes, I do that. And they keep going.
Well, you need to be able to say, listen,
that's it.
I've given you my 5 minutes, and please text me any other information or details that you need. Because I have an engagement or a meeting that I'm running late for right now. So thanks. It's been great talking to you, but we'll finish this up over a text.
People are needy.
Well, I know, exactly. And I think part of that is technology, because we're so often not having that one-on-one conversations.
And I agree with
email.
You. Yes. The interpersonal connection is lost, but then we need to blend we are all busy. And I had a conversation this morning. I said, I got 6 minutes, let's go. And then that turned into probably 16 minutes, if not more than that. My bad for not saying, gotta go,
you can do that and be polite and not rude. And if you only have 6 minutes, maybe you tell them you have 4.
Yes.
You can do that. You're in control of yourself. And I think that's what we all forget often, is that we let the other person that we're talking with control the narrative, instead of us speaking up and taking care of ourselves.
I believe it's one of my strengths, as identified in a strength assessment test, is empathy. Number 2 strength. Number 1 is communication. This is Clifford's strengths. And I believe that the empathy side gets the best of me, where I feel bad that I'm gracefully ending a conversation. So I let it go a little bit more, and I just got to done.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, empathy is good to have as a strength, but you need to know, it's like in mental fitness. You can have too much empathy. You can overdo that skill. When you overdo it, then it's not a strength anymore.
Ring the Karen bell. It's true. And I think that's also true of all of your strengths, whatever they may
absolutely.
be, because then it doesn't become fun anymore. That superpower you harness, whatever that is, now it gets to the point, now it turns into work where it shouldn't really feel like work. We've talked about the mental fitness before. How about some other tips? Obviously, breathing is a big one, right?
Sure, absolutely. Touching. That's a really good one. Also, and I like to do this, taking a walk and actually noticing things. Like, pick one thing out that you see and really notice it. Like notice the texture. You might not feel it, but you can tell if it's like has little like thorns or if it's smooth. Notice the colors. Notice things like, for example, the shadows of something. Notice all those things that you normally would not notice. In fact, you go, oh, that was a pretty tree. And that's it. But there's so much more beauty to it, but we don't pay attention to that. So that's another thing. It really helps your brain to focus on those kind of things.
And those things you're mentioning,
along.
Those are the things that we had and did when we were kids, when life was carefree, fun, and easy. And just what you said happened to me like a week ago. I had a quieter weekend. So Monday, I'm very chill. That's good. Driving, come to a light right at the corner. I looked at my steering wheel. And I'm like, look at how they did that. Look at the craftsmanship. Wow. They stitched that. They did that. And I really still, wow. Karen, in that moment, it was only 4 seconds, but it transported me back to my childhood. And I felt like I was a kid again. That curious, that wondrous curiosity.
Right.
And it was a reminder that I need to do that. And then we all need to do that, to go back to that, because that's what made your childhood great. In a little detail.
Absolutely. Another thing that you can do is sounds. Listen to sounds. Like if you're on the walk, you actually notice that birds are chirping. How often do you notice that? You might hear the dog barking, but you don't always hear the birds. And that can really be meaningful and really help you feel, really energize you. It's like, wow, I really do live in a gorgeous community. There's birds, and I may be in the city, but we still have birds, and they're happy and they're chirping, So those are some of the things. So one thing I don't want to lose track of is going back to self-care. Having a really good support system is really important. So when you have challenges, that you have someone that you can go to. Sometimes it's your peer. Once in a while, a friend will work. It just depends. And sometimes that's why people have coaches. It's to give you that support and tell you sometimes things you don't want to hear, and also provide you that support and let you know that you are doing a really good job. So don't let those negative voices, those saboteurs, keep you from moving forward. Don't get stuck.
I feel that many of us feel guilty about self-care. And the support system you speak of, whether it's a coach, whether it's somebody you're close to, they're the ones that give you the permission. Like when you talk about, I'm busy, I need to take more. I'm going to be honest with you right now, Karen. You just inspired me. I have a meeting tonight at 7:30. I've got a few hours before that. I got a pile of work over there. I'm not doing it. I'm going to go relax before the meeting. And I know tomorrow I have another meeting in the evening. I'll just get that done before that meeting because it's an earlier meeting. I'm not doing that. You know why? It's a beautiful day. I haven't been outside. And everybody, I'm texting with everybody. Have you been outside? It's so nice. Take a walk. I haven't had time. I'm making time.
Good. And that's the thing, is that what we need to do is we need to schedule. It sounds crazy, but you just shared a good example. We have to schedule that self-care time, or it won't happen. And those are the things that you need to model to your staff and your employees.
Sure.
That it's okay. And part of being a good leader is to make sure your employees are taking their vacation. I, I can't tell you how many times, especially in the nonprofit world, it's like, oh, I have too much to do. You know what? That work's always going to be there. And when you finish this pile, there's going to be another pile right ahead of it or right behind it that's going to fill that space. So you really have to make your employees take their vacation, because the business is going to be better for it, because they'll come back and they'll feel energized, and they'll be excited, and they'll really enjoy their work. And when they enjoy their work, they're going to work at peak performance.
That's the ticket right there. Because
absolutely.
we don't see it that way, especially as leaders. You just keep work. You want to have that feeling of accomplishment. So let me get through that stack. Let me go do it. But how well did you do it? And how much better could you have done it if you came to it refreshed?
Absolutely. It's a huge difference, And also wanting to go home and feel like I did good today. I got the things I wanted to accomplish, and I took care of myself. And I'm not going home and like feeling like I'm too tired to even eat dinner, which happens so often. Or you skip dinner and you work more until you can't do it anymore, and then you go to bed.
Do you feel that many times we don't give ourselves credit for what we've done? What do I mean by that? Here's your work day. You did this, you did this, you did this, you did this, but you're looking at this over here. I want to feel accomplished, like I got everything done. But you don't look back at 8:30 when you started, and you did all of these things along the way because you're focused on maybe 4 things that you wanted to get done before the end of the day, so you felt more accomplished. Do you feel that we don't take inventory of our progress?
Absolutely. I absolutely agree with you. And I think that's why it's important not to take on too many different tasks for the day. Take on 2 if you really feel that you can accomplish both of those and do them well. And if you accomplish that, go on to the next one. And actually, maybe take a minute and celebrate when you do accomplish one of them.
Go outside and take a walk. Reward yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've worked with a lot of executive directors, and it's sort of like parenting. There's that saying, do what I say, but not what I do. Leaders do the same thing. They work hard. They work 10-hour days. They don't take lunch, but they're always saying, you got to have self-care. You got to take care of yourself. Well, employees don't feel comfortable doing that. When their leader, they see their leader, not taking care of themselves.
Be the example.
Feeling like work is so important, right? Our lives are what is important. Work is work. And even though we might be passionate about what we do, we still need to take care of ourselves, because we are not our work. We are a person who has skills and talents and enjoys life. We only live once. So we really need to make sure we're taking care of ourselves.
Many of us feel our identity is our job. And that's kind of where it goes wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. And then when you retire, heaven forbid, when you finally retire, a lot of times those people end up going back to work because they feel lost, or, some actually have known to commit suicide because they have felt like there's nothing for them. They lost themselves. So we need to, and another part of taking care of yourself is having, participating in activities that you love, that bring joy. You know, because if you have those, not only are you going to be refreshed and be joyful, but when you retire someday, hopefully those same hobbies and activities that you were doing, you can continue doing. So you don't lose yourself in the work. It's just really not very healthy.
Thank you for the wake up. Yeah, and I really mean that. So I'm sure this resonates with so many that are just like churning it out, but not enjoying it because they haven't taken a moment, a little bit of self-care. You have permission. It's okay. And if you're trying to figure this out, trying to move you and your staff forward in terms of your professional life, even your personal life, you are available. How do we find you, Karen? What's the best way?
They can call me 775-790-2978 or visit my website, www.thrivecoachingandconsulting.com.
Wonderful talking with you today. If you will excuse me, it's a beautiful day. I'm not even kidding. I'm serious. I had things to do. I was like, all right, let me get this done together. Let me run out. I'm not doing it. I'm not. It can wait. It can wait. Right. And I have it. I'll plan it out for tomorrow. That's it.
I'll give you an A. Very good.
Thank you. Well, you gave me permission and without me even asking. That's really what it is. Wonderful. Very much appreciated. That's why you are our professional of the year. Thank you for being here today.
Oh, you're welcome. Take care.
Thanks. And welcome back. Welcome back, by the way.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right. We'll catch up soon. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.